What's up, guys? Welcome back to Goshen's Games. I am Goshen, and today it's going to be a little bit of a different video, guys. I actually just want to talk because I went on a bit of a rant during my live stream earlier today, and you know, like I kept thinking about it, and this is a subject that I've been thinking about for a while now. Basically, this is a notice to Bandai. Bandai, I hope you guys actually watch this video. Maybe, you know, enough of you guys can share it and it'll eventually make its way to Bandai. I want Dokkan Battle to be good, the best that it can be as far as like what to offer for a game for the consumers, and you know, so I just want, like, I want to point out some facts or some things that you guys need to pay attention to in order to make the game not become stale and keep the consumers happy, so that we're spending money, and that way you guys keep on making money and keep on pushing out more content for the game. I thoroughly enjoy playing the game. I'm a global player. I do have a JP account. I do play some JP, but my main account is global. I am up to date in the JP fairs. With that being said, this is coming out because you guys released the information for Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, the new physical lead, and as much as good of a card as he is, he's bad for the game. Okay, all these new cards that you're pushing out that are super OP and do so much damage and break the game, that's what's wrong with the game. Okay, that's something you have to understand, because you're pushing out these new cards and you're pushing out the new content as far as the new events and everything, and the events are too easy. They're too easy. Okay, so that you know, I have some points here that I want to relay over to you, and this is going to bring us to the first topic here. Stop making cards OP. Stop making them OP. Okay, damage is done. You've released all the 120 super leads, and you're going to finish releasing the 120 extreme leads. Fine, the damage is done there. Stop at that. Don't make any more god leads from this point forward until we get to a point where we need it. Okay, right now, just chill. Okay, push it back a little bit and release different cards, different types of cards. We don't need OP cards anymore. We have tons of them. There's tons of OP cards. Even before you release the 120 god leads, the neo god leads as everybody's calling it, even before you released that, all these cards were OP. Even the previous god leads were OP. Okay, I'm in global, so we have the old god leads. We have Super Saiyan 4 coming, which is gonna bring the neo god leads. Okay, everyone's looking forward to that. Yes, yada yada yada. But in actuality, they are not good for the game. They're not good because it takes out the difficulty for the game. And when you take out the difficulty for the game, it becomes stale. It becomes tiresome. You're just now just playing it because you invested so much time in it, and it's not fun. Yes, there's certain things that you do and certain events that make it fun again, but you have to understand something. When you release cards like this that are so OP, that, for example, Broly, releasing LR Broly in global broke global. You can run any event you want as long as you have an LR Broly friend. How messed up is that for your game? That means your developers put so much time into developing these events to try to make them difficult, and let's just bring in LR Broly friend and just wipe the floor with it. Come on, that's not healthy for the game. That's not healthy for the lifespan of the game. It's not. So, you know, we don't need any more OP cards like that. Okay, we don't need them. Bring out other cards that do other things, which then now it's going to come to my next point for you. Okay, passives on cards. Okay, this new physical god tanks that you just released, the physical go tanks, you gave him 120% passive, no restriction. Then you gave him another 60% increase for 7 turns. Okay, you put a restriction on that, but by that 7 turns, you've already beat the event, so it doesn't matter. Passives should not activate all the time unconditionally. They shouldn't. With the exception of key passives, I can understand that. Okay, I could understand key passives activating unconditional. But other passives, attack up, defense up, whatever. Okay, other passives, they should have conditions on them. You used to do that. Why did you stop? There's no reason for it. Keep putting conditions on them because it makes the game more, like, a little bit more difficult. You got to think a little bit more how you're going to cycle your cards, how you're going to use them in a proper way to beat the events. Okay, don't just put a passive 120 150 attack boost, no restriction. You know, you guys used to put 100% attack increase on a super attack. That's a restriction. Used to put an attack increase when your HP is 30 or 50% or above. That's a good restriction. You put an attack increase when your HP is under 80% or whatever. Those are good restrictions, guys. Don't take those away because it gives strategy to the game. It makes it more fun because then you got to actually think on how you're going to beat the boss, how you're going to beat this event. So with your passives in that kind of sense, where you have criteria that you need to meet on your passives, then you got to take in consideration what items you're going to bring. You know, what are you going to sacrifice in order to get that passive? Like Frieza's 90% reduction when your HP is 50% or above. That's a good passive. As much as people might not like it, that's a good passive, because then that means you need to do everything you can to stay above that 50% mark so Frieza's passive will activate. That's a good passive. Why take that type of stuff away? Don't take that stuff away. So that's going to bring us now to our other point here. Make use of other cards. What do I mean make use of other cards? You have a ton of cards that you don't use for anything. They're throwaway cards. You guys at Bandai and Akatsuki, the developers of the game, you guys put the time and effort and money into making these cards, but you don't use them. Perfect example, the Great Ape cards. The Great Ape cards. What are they for? They're just there. They're a gimmick. Why not give them a leader? Give them a Great Ape leader. You know, maybe a Vegeta or Bardock or whatever. Give them a Great Ape leader. You know, where on the leader skill, maybe 2 key, and then give them attack 100 or attack, HP, and defense plus 100%. Do it like that. Maybe not even. Give them like 90%. They don't even need that much because they're Great Ape cards. And then on top of that, on the leader skill, make it so that all Great Ape cards now have a medium chance to go Great Ape, which a medium chance equates to, I think, is what, like, somebody in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like 25, 30%, something like that. You increase the chance of being able to go Great Ape. So, I mean, come on. Make these other cards useful by incorporating new cards to aid the old ones. Excuse me. So, you know, like I said, you have a lot of cards that are like that you don't even utilize. You know, and that could open up the game to a whole new meta on its own. Being able to utilize older cards or cards just in general, even some of the newer cards that you guys release, they're just there. We don't even use them. You know. So that brings us to the next point that I have here. Retire cards. Retire some of the older cards, okay? So that way you reward your long-term players. You reward them by saying, okay, well, you guys have these cards. Congrats. We're now retiring them. They will no longer be able to be pulled. We're going to remove them from all the from all the banners. So these cards can no longer be pulled from summoning. You know, and then at that point, if you retire cards, maybe you can do a special event where you will give those cards to players that maybe meet a certain rank in the local tournament, in world tournament. You know, it brings a whole nother aspect to the game that you guys will make money from. Just think of it that way. You retire these old cards. You retire them because you're bringing out so many new cards. Retire the old ones. You know, You give them the Dokkan Awakens or whatever, but they're retired, so nobody else can pull them. The ones who have them can Dokkan Awaken them and all that stuff. And then if the people want to get those cards, you announce in the World Tournament, new local reward. We give, for example, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there, like AGL Starter Goku, whatever. Just an example. So those people who would want that card would participate in the World Tournament, try really hard in their local rank to get that card. Okay, so retire cards, man. Not only will retiring cards give you that extra option, it will also make the consumers happy, because now when we go and throw our money into the banners, we're not getting super pissed off because we're pulling these old cards, like the Int Trunks. That Int Trunks that even Dokkan Awaken sucks. Retire him. Retire the card. That's, like I said, it'll give you more options, because then you can use those cards to entice people to run the World Tournament. You can use them, and the fact that they will be taken out of the SSR pool, and we'll have a better chance to pull the newer SSRs or other SSRs instead of getting the same ones over and over and over. My next point here is make the Dokkan events hard again, or harder. Just make them harder. And when I say make them harder, not in the fact that you just increase their attack and you increase their HP. That's not what I'm talking about. Make it harder in the fact that you need to meet certain requirements to do the events. Okay. Some of the events, like the Super Vegito event, is cool because you need Fierce Battle, but let's face it, everybody has Fierce Battle now. And you have other events that you need, like you need a certain link or whatever. Those events are cool and everything, but they're outdated. Make it now so in order to run certain events, say you release a physical event. I'm using Super Vegito. I'm using Vegito Blue event as an example because it's a physical event. I'm using Vegito Blue as an example. So in Vegito Blue's event, on the description you will put, you're not allowed to use any Strength God Lead. So you can't use Omega Shenron. You can't use LR Broly. You can't use the new Strength Janemba. You can't use Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Make it so you can't use certain cards on the events, so that way we're forced to do the events using different cards, and it keeps things interesting, and it makes it harder, and in doing so you can reward us with the medals and everything else, and give it a challenge in order to play the game. Because think of it this way, if we're just running through all the events, that's less Dragon Stones we're going to use to do a continue, because we're so frustrated that we got beat that we're going to hit that continue button. But now it's just so easy, we don't even continue on events. So that's just something to think about when it comes to doing the events. Make restrictions. Make it so we can't use certain cards. That would be amazing. Okay? Or make it so we have to use a certain card. Okay, because if we have to use that certain card, say for example we don't have it, but that new card is in the new banner, now we got to pull on that banner to run that event, right? And obviously that card would get Dokkan Awakened. Or for example, whatever Dokkan event, like in that same aspect, you have to have at least one of those cards that awakens from that event. Do it like that. Make it hard. Give us a reason, besides the fact that, it's the newest card. Give us a reason to pull the card. We want to run this event, we have to have that card. Okay, let's do it like that. Another thing too, go back to your story mode. Go back to your story mode all the way back to the beginning. Revamp it, add new stages. Go from the very first stage, add a super 2, super 3, whatever, all the way across. Make all of them hard for end game content. Do it like that. Add extra to it. Why not? 1, it'll give us more Dragon Stones. We will be happy. 2, it's more content that all you need to do is just increase the difficulty for it. That's it. That's all you need to do is increase the difficulty for it. I'm sure that doesn't take a lot of effort on your part, Bandai, to do. Okay. The other thing too is, at this current meta, links as far as key links go, are irrelevant. Okay, key links are irrelevant, especially with all the cards that you're pushing out now, with the support cards that have 3 key plus 40% attack up. So you're making key links irrelevant. Okay, if key links are going to be irrelevant, then you might as well just take them off and put all attack. Or you can balance things out. Okay, you can balance things out, guys. You want to balance them out. When you release these new cards, make them weak, like ridiculously weak. Make them true support units. They're weak cards, but they buff up the entire team. Okay, if you're going to do it like that, you do it like that. The other thing too is going back onto the making the events hard. You can make certain things, like make a boss, make your passive on your team that no passive will activate. That would be so freaking awesome, because then we got to think, okay, we got to strategize. Now we don't have our passives that increase our attack, we don't have our passives that increase our key, so we have to actually go back and focus teams around the links like it used to be. The other thing that you could do as well, if you're going to keep the passives going like that, you could do it vice versa. Have a boss fight that deactivates all links, so we can't link up. So now we rely on the passives. So balance the game out doing it like that, and you know, we will be happy because it'll give us more of a challenge. You know, the game is broken right now. You need to fix it. You need to fix it, or it's going to get stale, and we as consumers are going to stop playing. That's just how it's going to happen. So I hope, like I said, I hope that, you know, this gets shared amongst the community. I hope that my followers here will do me that favor and share it around, and maybe Bandai will see it. You know, I know that my YouTube followers have already seen me go on this rant a few times today in my live stream, so I decided to put in a recording and put it up because it needs to be done, needs to be said. So I hope that the game continues to be enjoyable, because that's what I want. That's what everybody wants. Like, they want the game to be enjoyable, but we don't want the game to be OP, and we don't want everything force fed or everything given to us on a silver spoon. You know, I know people will say, well, you know, this is only a problem for pay to play players. No, it's not. It's not, guys. This will become a problem for free-to-play players as well, because let's face it, free-to-play players, you save up your Dragonstones, likeliness is you're going to pull an OP card, and everything's just going to be easy for you. So, you know, just like I said, guys, if you like this rant, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so, and guys, do me a favor, share this around. I really want Bandai to see this. Bandai Akatsuki, I really want them to see this, so that way they can understand, coming from a player, that, you know, I want this game to continue to be successful, and I want the game to continue to be fun. And I'm not saying implement everything I said. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just giving pointers out. Okay, I'm giving pointers out coming from a hardcore gamer. I really recommend to make drastic changes to the game, force the changes, and I promise it will be for the better. Anyways, my name is Goshen. I will see everybody in my next video, my next live stream. You guys have a great day. Later.